Hey there, coaches. It is Rachel Feldman. Good morning. We have been going live this week, like in the morning. And I have to tell you, I am so loving it because it sets the stage for such a killer day. Now, to continue in the way that we have been talking this last week, we have covered Website 101. We've covered making this not so complicated. We've also covered how to really look at your niche completely different. I call it niche done different, is to go way past just, what is my niche in that one core word. And so what I want to help you with today is, how do you create these irresistible packages that actually make you money? What does everyone say when they're like, oh, I need to create a signature offer. I don't know what to put on my Work With Me page. I don't know what to create for a low-cost class. So I want to give you a few examples of how you can create a really amazing client journey on your Work With Me page, how you can also not feel overwhelmed when you are planning your Work With Me offers, and keep this in mind before we start mapping this out today. Each one of you are going to have a little different of a pricing structure, or maybe even a business strategy based on how you coach. Please hear me say this clearly, because some of you have a one-on-one coaching model. And some of you, it works right for you to do that. So don't try to build this huge online program if you want to work with people one-on-one. Then it's important for you to really focus on the client journey in your Work With Me offers. These different tiers which serve people in their different problems and the level of their problems. Secondly, if you are working completely in the online space and you're creating a higher ticket, 2 or 3 month program, then you really want to still figure out how you can get your numbers and reverse engineer really into what you need to accomplish that month so that you have a good amount of people on your list, or you're extremely visible and you're doing a challenge in your group, or you are doing a webinar leading to the open card of your paid offer. So just remember, when you're creating irresistible packages, to think of what is the style that's truly going to work for you, what is truly going to serve your ideal client. We talked about this in niche part 1. It's on my business Facebook page. It's also on YouTube. What style of program, what type of service do you actually need to provide that's going to give your ideal client their biggest win? If you have any additional questions about that, just pop them below, because I know a lot of these topics can sound confusing, but they're not. So I'm a big visual on creating maps. I think that most of us, most heart-based coaches, we are creatives. And so it's really important to enhance that part of your creativity so that you lessen the overwhelm. I'm looking at all my different whiteboards and seeing if I can pull anything out really quick. I'll see if I can do that, but let's start with this exercise. You're going to put at the top of the page, Work With Me. You're going to make box 1. You're going to make 3 boxes. I'm showing you right now my business Bible book. This is what I talked about the other day, and creating this ongoing journal where you can really mastermind your ideas, and even story ideas, social media post ideas, Work With Me offer ideas, and then you can always go back to it. So at the top, Work With Me. Box number 1, box number 2, box number 3 are your different tiers. So imagine you're creating your Work With Me page. Let's say that you're specializing in, let's do emotional eating, because I'm seeing emotional eating and stress eating huge right now. We can even reposition that as talking about the weight loss, but really talking about how weight loss doesn't work because so many people are emotional eaters or stress eaters. Or you can go directly and say you're an emotional eating coach, or you're a coach that is a stress, no stress eating coach. I mean, we're not going to get into fancy verbiage, but really think when you're positioning yourself or you're buying content from us, how you want to message that content. Remember, you're buying the content for us. How you use it is really going to be based on that work that you do in the niche clarity, how you're messaging, and also letting yourself get creative in how you want to be known as the expert. So offer number one is usually our lowest cost offer. So put that right next to that box. Clearly, number two is your mid cost. Number three is your higher cost. So I'm going to write down all of these. Hey, Cindy, good morning. I'm going to write down all of these. If we take emotional eating, and I know from experience, there are some people more with stress eating. I would say it's safe to say, I feel that if I'm working with somebody one-on-one, and that includes a 90-minute, 60-minute, and 2 15-minute check-ins, or if it includes a 2 60-minute and 2 20-minute check-ins, I feel safe to say that in 30 days, we can start to uncover all these stressful moments and their triggers so that we step into this awareness part. And for me, that's a great step one. It's either a baseline, a great one in detox would be like our seasonal detox. Another one for a baseline for hormones would be your 21-day hormone detox. This can be your 30-day program. So I'm going to put right next to this that end emotional eating is my low cost offer. So when you're building out your work with me offer, you take a program and how you package it to be irresistible. And secondly, how it converts is that you're not just sitting there on a discovery call saying, yeah, when you work with me, we're going to address your triggers. You are going to define what you can and cannot address in these offers, so you have that confidence. But what you're also going to be able to tell them is, hey, I know change can be really hard. This is pretty much what I said. I know change can be really hard. Change is hard for me. And so the reason that it's different working with me is we're not just talking about the intangibles. We're not just talking about this transformation that you need, that you want, but you've had all these experiences way before me that made you feel like maybe you couldn't do it. And my job here is to give structure so that we can start to let go. We can let go of these behaviors. We can let go of these triggers. We can start to address them. In my business, in my one-on-one, I did a lot of old story work, a lot of tapping, a lot of essential oils, a lot of different strategies to address old times. I hate using the word trauma, but I'm just going to use it for today's purpose. Old imprints, old trauma. A big part of my business and still what I teach and how I look at mindset different is in my business, I talk a lot about the rewiring, the remapping, the creating the new genetic makeup, the new family tree. And so I feel confident that my lower cost could be end emotional eating. I also know, and this is what a lot of people don't talk about because they don't talk about the actual coaching part, that person, of course, I'm going to charge my higher cost. And if I want to, of course, bring them to that end transformation, I'm thinking 30-day emotional eating to start. And that end transformation, that signature program is either going to be something like 3-month mindset makeover or 3 months eat with intention. because I know that I have to start in the structure, and to bring somebody off of the diet mentality, emotional eating, disordered eating, body image, body confidence, feminine flow, all of those things that many of you guys specialize in your own different way. You really want to think of what is that end path, program that I can have as my 3-month signature work with me, or that you're even extending to a 6-month. So at my higher, I'm going to put 3-month mindset makeover or 3-month eat with intention. It's based on your personality. It's based on your style of coaching. This is so that you have content, so that you're not wasting time creating session notes. Which session notes, I would say on average, and when the reason that I created my first program for mine and then we started selling them, is that on average, I spent about an hour creating personalized handout, session notes, recipes. And sometimes that was even north of that, to like 90 minutes. So not only do you have this great structure for where you want to start, but your work with me page isn't just going to say, you can work with me for 30 days for $597, or 30 days for $497, or 30 days for $333, making it a 1K package to work with you 3 months, or of course, a little higher number on the other ones. It can actually say you're going to get access to, these handouts. And so you really start to go through the content, go through the guides, and talk about that journey. We're going to cover these core topics. You're going to have additional handouts. And so that when you are actually on that discovery call, or you're explaining the promise and the benefits of your program, it's easy for you to know the structure of your one-on-one coaching, the structure and the flow of how you are going. And I'm doing quotation marks in the air because this is the structure that we are providing. That structure is essential for the discovery call to the conversion. The same is applicable if we were talking about this and converting to a group or an online program or mastermind. I'm just going to stay on the work with me in the one-on-one capacity today so that we don't talk about too many topics. But if that person is on a phone call with you, and any person talking sales, they're going to tell you, of course, to give your higher option. So theoretically, this person's on the call with you. They have filled out your form either on your website, or you have foregone, you forego automation because you just can't figure it out, but you've sent them like a Google form. Maybe you're in Practice Better. You have a really good idea of the problems they deal with and the levels of issues. How long their issue's been around. This is what's going to help you find your levels. How long has it been around? Has it been through birth? Has this been an ingrained behavior that they learned from a family member? Does this emotional eating, stress eating, body image, eating disorder, has this been passed down? Is this in the family tree? You're hopefully asking those kind of questions so that you have a better understanding of how to not only create the verbiage that you need to say on that discovery session, but you also have a better understanding on which is right for them. That also increases your confidence on a call. When you know what program is right for each person, it doesn't feel stressful on that call. There's not a break in silence. And I know a lot of coaches, we focus in a lot of other areas, but we really don't think of these conversations, which is where conversions, happen. So if I'm confident that my higher cost is this 3 month, I can say that person, when we work with each other, these are the topics we're going to go through. You're going to get access to this program. We're going to be able to use this program. And the reason that I said quotation marks earlier is in one-on-one coaching, it's a beautiful discovery. I mean, you've set out and you're giving your client the structure so that they can let go of their fear. So trust starts to get built. And then they start to tell you the things that really are their emotional obstacles or their fears. And so your client sessions, you may be giving them everything, but they're talking about something completely different because that is actually what is their biggest obstacle. So what's nice about that is then you have your work with me plan, you know what you can offer. That allows clients that do this, all the coaches that have success with our programs, to like step back and really be your solution. So when you're on a call, when you're in a DM, when you're in a PM, when you're on a podcast, you're on a summit, you're in an interview, you're doing a live, you're doing a reel, you're talking about your work with me offers, or you're building your whole business, meaning your work with me, your lower cost self-paced offers, also called do-it-yourselves, you really understand these core principles that you're teaching. And so you don't feel scattered. You're not scattered on a phone call. You're not scattered on a personal message. If somebody says, I've been watching you talk about stress eating, and I've never been able to like admit this to my friend, my significant other, but this is, been just such a scary thing for me. And I really feel like I can trust you because you just keep sharing. It's like you're in my head. That's the moment you just converted. That's why I say, and I beg you guys all the time, stop creating, spend more time connecting, spend more time refining how you can use our content, spend more time really sitting and thinking about the what you're saying each day in the showing up, so that that person naturally converts to you. Because when that person says, it's like you're in my head, the only difference between the coach that doesn't convert to the coach that does is you're calm on that discovery call. You're hearing them, you're listening. And as they're telling you these problems, you can then say, and we're going to close this out today, and I'm going to just talk about this mid-cost, is that you can close it out and say, based on everything you told me, I do think that it would best serve you. And I think that you would accomplish the goals that you want, because I know you told me that this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. This is your fear, this is your fear, this is your fear. And so we come out of that panic of, is this person going to sign up and hire me? Because we really step into the confidence that we have provided a solution that will 1000% change this person's life. So when I say this person, I think it would be great for us to work in a more intensive way in my 3 months. They're going to come back with either I'm all in, I'm all in, you had me at hello, or they're going to come back with an objection. That either that's too much money, or their own past objection and fears, which are, I don't think that's a good fit. That's when you can come in with your lower costs and say, we can start smaller. It's okay. Like let's take some baby steps, because my 30-day program is really step 1. And we can always discuss later if we're ready for step 2. That's the beautiful flow. I called it 2-tier work with me. 2 offers, low and high. If you're putting in a third, that means that your low offer step 1, that means that your mid cost is theoretically step 2, or that your mid cost, you're really optimizing on that end emotional eating, and you could bring them to something like a 60-day weight loss, or you could bring them even to, a 6-week that is, maybe another program that really fits what you, of course, want to accomplish in those different opportunities on your Work With Me page. The way that I did it, and I'll just end with this, is I had a step 1, step 2, step 3. My step 3 often encompassed step 1, step 2, and that third package. I never sold a 6-month program. I tried once, didn't really work. I rarely sign up for that kind of commitment unless I feel that these steps are really mapped out for me. And so the way that I did is my longer program was at the end, and I would say, we're going to go through these steps when you buy this package. And that those steps mirrored, the steps that were in those lower tiers. So that person knew, and I knew if they were upselling and they said, this 30-day was mind blowing. I really want to go to the next level, that my lowest cost option really mirrored the different steps in my highest cost. So step 1 was my baseline always, because it helped me to understand really what was the biggest problem. And so I had a detox. Some people have a 2 or 3 week that they make as a 30-day. I also had a 14-day that I did as a 90-minute intensive session. So my lowest was a 90-minute. Then I had a 30, and then I had a 3-month. I hope that helps. I would say we have a lot of coaches. Let's just riff off some niches. Ketogenic. There are people that take the 5-day ketogenic or the 7-day keto jumpstart. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is the 30-day keto, and tier 3, if they are more of moving people into like a carb tolerance, that could be a next tier, because it doesn't even have to be in time and length. It's this next place in your signature system that you have to teach. Because often, as we know, finding your carb tolerance, or even in keto, this doesn't just happen in 30 days. That's more of the marketing part. You can extend any program. If we were to say in the gut, a great starter gut would be either like a 14-day paleo, a detox, maybe even if you wanted to start as like phase 1 as more of a paid challenge leading to your low cost offer. That could be a paid opportunity. That could be a masterclass, like with a 14-day program that you charge, and it's self-paced, but you could also even charge if you wanted for an additional one-on-one service as like 2 options. And that can be phase 1, tier 1. Bringing them into tier 2, which could be a 30-day gut fix or the anti-inflammatory, bringing them into phase 3, which really is then your 8-week gut restore. That's the same flow. And I always say, map it out and visualize what that client journey is, and you will never have a problem creating any package, selling any package, because you really put this together based on the steps that your ideal client needs to take. Is there dairy? I don't believe we have dairy in that. I'm not a big cheese person, just because of cheese's mold, or maybe that's just the gut stuff that I always think about. Dawn, I would say, send us a message at team@rachelafeldman.com or drop a message in at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. I don't believe I have dairy in there. Maybe very small, but I would definitely message us. Our keto recipe guide is hands down it's one of the best I've seen, because I know I struggled doing keto because I don't do dairy. I don't do cheese. I'll do kefir, and I don't do well with butter. I don't do well with ghee, just from gallbladder and liver issues. So I worked really hard with our ketogenic recipe person to make this more greens, thinking about a person like myself, or even a person where there's liver stagnation, bile flow issues, and butter and some of these traditional things that you see in ketogenic wouldn't have worked. So I would just message us. When you do lower Somebody's saying when you do lower mirrors, the longer do you give them in depth? I don't know what mirrors. So Don, just explain that. When you lower mirrors, the longer do you give more in depth in the longer? I don't know what mirrors are. So I would just say, if you're saying in the lower offers or the lower tiers, or you'll hear all these words, guys. I would say if you're a brand new coach, you're going to hear work with me offers. If you are in the more advanced stages, you might hear things like your offer suite, or your funnel. So I would say the way that I keep it, mirror my 30 days. The way that I keep it really simple to be able to understand in the lower tier is, for example, I don't understand what Don's asking. In your lower offers, you are making these when you're pricing it out. Of course, you're not going to be doing this for high intensive touch. And so that could mean, just like to recap, 90 minutes, a 90-minute intensive for the program and that one-on-one call. And maybe that's a little higher than your 60-minute, which is why I always say it's really imperative to know what you charge for an hour, because then when we are talking about making other offers, or you're trying to price out your speaking price, or trying to price out what a day with you would be like, you have to know that hourly rate. You also need to know what your time equity is. I mean, that's basic, what I call calculator in business. If you don't know what your time equity is, it's really hard to then see if you're wasting time, and then learn how to be really disciplined in cutting time off, so that you actually make more money and see where you're wasting time. So know your hourly for a bunch of different reasons. Secondly, is that the way that I always mirrored my groups and my self-paced is that if on my page I had a 30-day offer of, say, like the 30-day gut fix or the ketogenic program or any 30-day program, that in a second can also be an offer that you're doing as a group. Because the goal of many health entrepreneurs, no matter what is your specialty, is that we really have greater impact and reach more people. So not everyone is the right fit for your one-on-one. Not everyone is ready for one-on-one. And so if you wanted, you can take the same offers on your Work With Me page and mirror them to be other offers, such as the 30-day can be a self-paced course. It could also be a self-paced course that you have, but you're really optimizing the program so that you have that already set up in a self-paced way for your one-on-one. And then you're also using it as a self-paced group for somebody who can't afford you. I said this to about 10 coaches in the last month, and they were like, oh my God, that's so brilliant. I never thought of that. So let me just say this clearly, is that the biggest problem we all have is time. It's a time problem. Many of us have either little kids, or you have grandkids, or you have a 9-to-5, and we are lacking time in our life. And we don't want to get to what happened with me and many others, is that you go into adrenal burnout building your business. So if I were to do this over again, what I wish I would have learned in the beginning is to take time to look at every program as a self-paced opportunity. And this is what I started doing in year 2 and 3, because you can't grow if you're time deficient. So I would take that 30-day program and I would say, okay, what are 2 videos that my ideal client needs to have throughout the week to actually make this a win, and to actually accomplish this, feel like, wow, if I can do this and I have a win, oh my God, what it would be like to work with Rachel in a longer capacity. What I also realized is in that one-on-one, it helped me to save time by giving people that structure And so I created little videos. I kept them even on one document. I was like, here's your video library for the course. We didn't have all these fancy platforms before. And truth is, I think it's actually made it harder on coaches because they feel like it needs to be perfect to launch it, and it doesn't. You just need to have those videos, either on a document for people so that they feel what? They feel more relaxed, and you're not reinventing the wheel, which happens in our one-on-ones, which is why people get jaded, they get burnt out, and then they want to do something else, or they feel like they can't actually build this business. All of this is about time efficiency. It's about saving time. It's about being smart with your money. It's about being smart with how you're doing your process in your one-on-one. Doesn't mean everything needs to be automated in a ClickFunnels, in a Practice Better, in Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, all these different platforms. It means it needs to be automated in your own head. It also needs to have videos on a document like Google Drive. You can have one that says 30-day gut fix videos. That's where you put it. Keep it simple so that you can grab when you are either on a discovery call or you're even showing people how different it is to work with you. These are all your selling points. These are the things that make people say, oh, wow, like this person has covered everything. So that having that set up allows you, of course, in your one-on-one to have everything done, because it's safe to say that people are going to ask you questions, and you know that most people, they have very simple questions like, do I have to refrigerate my probiotic? What's the right probiotic to, take if I'm always on the go and I forget to refrigerate it? Do I have to take a probiotic with food? Do I take a probiotic in the morning or the night? Does the lemon water need to be warm? I hate warm lemon water. I don't do well with lemons. Is there another alternative? What happens if I drink raw apple cider vinegar and I start to feel a little nauseous? There are so many I call them like the small things. This is where people get hiccuped, guys. Maybe this is what makes me different in my view of looking at the content that we create and why we have coaches as our writers is you have to think constantly about the digestion of the information for your ideal client. That's why I am so proud of our programs. And if you think about just this example of the 30-day gut fix, each one of us know where either we had a problem or these common questions that everyone always asks. Why not go on loom.com and shoot those videos and have a library? Why not make it easier for yourself? That means, no joke, you could buy a program, edit it, give yourself 72 hours. The next 72 hours, make these little videos. Batch those videos. It means carve out like time. No need for perfection. No need for a diva ring light. It could be done on so many different platforms, but those videos will save you so much time and frustration. The same applies if you're doing a group program. Many of you always say to me, how'd you do this business with no automation? And I was like, I created videos. I put my content for my program that I was going to launch in a Facebook group. I had those videos that I knew went with the program. And so those were the videos that I would upload in my group, making that even more of a benefit to my ideal client who was nervous that they had no time. They're no different, had no time. They've done other things before. They feel like it's too much money. It's only too much money in their head, either because the coach isn't clear on the promise or that they really have their own laundry list of past experiences and fears. Well, we are working with human beings and not robots. So of course that human being has that fear. Our job is to, and I'm going to keep saying this, and then I am going to go right now, is our biggest job is to tame our own stuff, our own inner critic, our own fears, and stay service minded, stay thinking, how can I make this program a no-brainer for my ideal client? And that's the same thing in creating an irresistible package on your work with me. What would make this a no-brainer for somebody to join it? It's you and the program. They're not just buying the program. You as a coach need to know what you believe in and stand strong with conviction, saying, hands down, this is the best 30-day program. And when you buy this, you're not just buying this. I'm giving you all these videos so that I'm saving you time, because I know you don't have much time and I want to make this really easy for you. So there's so many things to do, and there's so many things that can also, like I said, ease that time for you. So digest this, whether you're listening to this, I'm going to go work out, whether you're listening to this in a workout, or you're seeing this in one of our groups, or you saw this on YouTube. As you're going in January, like really start thinking, okay, so Rach, what I'm hearing you say is this is all about me taking the content and then spending more time personalizing, either your story about why you created this, understanding how you can sweeten that and make it a no-brainer, creating those kind of videos, and also, making sure that you are creating these like processes for your one-on-one so you don't quit on your one-on-one. So guys, my husband's calling me. That means it is time for me to peace out. I will see you guys later. Have a beautiful one. Bye, guys. And message us if you have any questions about needing help choosing your program. We're here for you. All right, guys. See you later. Ciao. Bye.